my name's Conor McGilligan. This is One Leeds. Welcome back to the latest video. This video, as always, is sponsored by Shop GNO, The Job Match Group, and Match Bingo. Let's get into it. First up, The Job Match Group. Whether you're looking for your next big gig or just browsing, The Job Match Group has niche job sites made just for you. F1, retail, security, and loads more. They're about matching the right person to the right job. Make sure you check them out if you're ready to level up your career. Then we've got Shop GNO, an exciting new e-commerce site where you can grab exclusive deals and discounts. Right now, One Leeds has an affiliate link just below where you can score a 25 quid membership for free, unlocking special rates and benefits. You can even list your own shop on there with way better rates than Amazon, eBay, and Vinted. They've got some Leeds bits and some general bits now and launching soon, plus some great prizes just for signing up. This is all powered by a massive Leeds United fan looking to make waves in the online shopping world. So check them out and support your local. And don't forget our mates at Match Bingo. They're smashing it with footy fun. You can get 5 bingo cards for the price of 4 through One Leeds, and you can even deposit just $5 at a time to join the action. It's a big chance to win whilst having a blast with your fellow Leeds United friends. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Check the links in the description, and let's get on with the video. Hello everybody, how are we doing? My name is Conor McGilligan. This is One Leeds. This is the rumour mill. What is going on in your world? I already know where your eyes are going. And yes, I got it at long last. But before we start, everybody, please make sure you're slapping a like on the video. Please make sure you're subscribing to the One Leeds channel if you want some general bits and bats. We did do a video with Callum Fowler. We've done a bit with Matt SB. We've done a bit with Benjamin Bloom on the second channel where we're going to be speaking everything football. They're going very Donald Trump there. But yes, everybody, make sure you are tuned in, engaged, interacting as always. Get your thoughts in the section below. I want to hear all of your thoughts. If you are watching this on the replay, guys, listen, I do read all of your comments, so make sure as the One Leaders that you are tuned in after the effect as well. Really appreciate that. Now, listen, I will announce as well that this is going to be the last One Leeds rumour mill for probably around about the next 4 days. That'll become clear, but we will be filling you in, guys, with the rumour wrap. We'll be delivering you with that wrap, that big filling of Leeds United news. So don't worry, I ain't going anywhere. Who's in, everybody, this morning? We've got Graham in. We've got Shelley of the Toffee Blue. Hello, Shelley. How's it going? Morning, Connor. How's it going? Hello from Melbourne. Hello, mate. How's it going? Connor is here. This means I can kickstart my day. Good morning from muggy Sheffield. How's it going, Wayne? Good lad. Good to see you in here, pal. Morning, Connor. Shame about Meslier. Can we swap Pope with Meslier? Adrian with the thought process already this morning. I love it. Morning, mate. Are we finally going to sign original promotion link Tagliafico from Olympique Lyonnais? We are going to get into a name of which, if we can go for him at Olympique Lyonnais, obviously Lyon have had a few problems. They've just been relegated to League Two, which is interesting, isn't it? Because they're 500 million euros in debt. They've had massive financial problems. But then you've got another team at the top of the tree, or top of the tree when it comes to the biggest clubs in the world, in and around the dark side of the Pennines, who are allowed to be over £1 billion in debt, and that's fine. That's fine. That's A-OK, apparently. But Leon, it's not the way forward. So, okay, morning, Connor. Hello, Kelly. How is it going? Alan's here as well. Good morning, Connor. Makes sense that Aaronson staying. Would imagine it would be a big financial loss. Makes financial sense with PSR, 100%. A lot of you guys talking about Aaronson this morning as well. Morning, Connor. Morning, everybody. Good to see all the regulars here and new people as well. Carl says, hi, Connor. Keep it up. Keep it going, you legend of the waves. Thank you so much, Carl. Appreciate it. Okay. And straight away, we've got Hancock Spike saying, we are not getting Diarra. We are not getting Diarra. Deal with it. Danielito. I think we've got a name. The best name so far of the stream. Anybody got a better name? Buenos dias. Good morning, Connor from Lima, Peru. Oh, Lima, Peru. One Leeds everywhere. What's happening in your world? Do you know what, Daniel? Thanks for asking. Nobody asks, Daniel. So shout out to you. I'm all good, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, I got this, Daniel, if you're not aware, is a shirt I have been hunting for the best part of 10 years. I've not been able to afford it. I've not been able to think to myself, Connor, you can spend that amount of money on your favorite ever Leeds shirt. Couldn't get Bridges number 8 on the back, which was a little bit of a problem. You know, the first ever time I remember seeing this shirt was a Bridges hat trick at the Dell. That's right. One off the knee, volley, top corner. If you know, you know. And I was in love with this shirt ever since. And I've not taken it off for about 48 hours now. Well, maybe actually when I did the last rumour mill. I thought I need to take that off. But yes, thank you, my friend. My world's great. Thank you so much. And I hope yours is too, my friend. Okay, let's get on to the rumours, shall we? Well, who is this man? Who is this man? Okay, this is Urgacan Cakir. Fenerbache have apparently reached an agreement with the goalkeeper. I believe he plays for Trabzonspor as well. And the Meslier rumours have been quashed quite early this morning as I got up. You know, radiant sunshine for a little bit here in my part of the world. But then 343 Digital, who are a massive Turkish outlet, huge Turkish outlet, over 250,000 subscribers on YouTube in particular, is just an overview. They've reported this morning that apparently Fenerbahce have struck an agreement with Trabzonspor for their captain, their goalkeeper, Urgacan Cakir, which apparently, well, allegedly, according to this newspaper, puts to bed any form of this digital publication, puts to bed any news of Ilhan Meslier joining up with Jose Mourinho and Fenerbahce, unless maybe there's a number two. Fenerbahce, a number two? Maybe a number two. Maybe cut price. We'll give you 3 million, 2 million, 1 million. I can't go below 400 grand. 300 grand. Let's do it. How about it? 300 grand. We'll make a 4.7 million loss on him. No problem. No problem. It would be a problem. But yeah, no, it kind of just puts into the ether a little bit, doesn't it? We were speaking about it yesterday on the mill about just us rejecting that Marseille bid. God. Last summer, De Zerbi's Marseille coming in for around about, I think it was 10 million quid, but it made a 5 million quid profit. Leeds wanted 15. Yeah, crazy stuff. But there you go. So it looks like Leeds are not getting rid of Meslier just yet. Kim says, a great day. Always starts watching Connor One Leeds, the best Leeds news around. Thank you, Kim. And like we do, I guess the difference with us, mate, over here is the old 3Ds on the channel, the discourse, debate, discussion. I really enjoy having that with you guys. I find it. Well, it's not really our wheelhouse, is it? Just just the news. It's nice, I think, reading your guys' comments out, having a bit of a chat, and it seems to go really well. These videos shouldn't do as well as they do. We speak for an hour every single morning, and we're still getting really good views, really good comments on it. So you guys clearly enjoy it, and I enjoy doing them. I enjoy doing them a little bit more than even the walk-alongs. I do enjoy the walk-alongs as well. Luke says there was never anything in the Meslier rumours. Yep. I was at the Dell, the day of the solar eclipse. Was that true, Hungry Duck? Interesting, mate. Good evening, mate, from cold Canberra, Australia. Chilco, what is cold Canberra? Because I bet I can trump you with where I live. Thank you again, Kim. Really appreciate that. Aaronson feels like a great option on the bench when we're leading. To use an exit from the back into press. We are going to get on to Aaronson in a bit, mate. Hold your horses. Hold. Morning, Connor. I don't usually catch you live. Hope you're well and a cracking shirt. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Morning, May. Time for more excitement and then realism, says Kung Fu Kettle. Great name, Kung Fu Kettle. Can't imagine that's your name. Johnny Pink says it's about time you had some merchandise out. It's gone a bit quiet on the merchandise front. I'll be honest with you, mate. Yeah, you need to... It's a tough gig, the merchandise biz. It really is. Connor with Olympic Lyon relegated to L2 due to financial irregularities and mounting debt. Surely Leeds can take advantage of the situation by bidding for their better players. Yes, mate, and we are going to get onto that in just a little bit. That's what I love about the rumour mill. You guys are always so eager. You see the title, and I'll get there. Don't worry, I'll get there. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't look like regarding Ilhan Meslier, there's going to be any sort of movement anytime soon, campers. So there we go. Brenden Aaronson. Okay, moving on to the American midfielder. There's been a really interesting interview that he's had with Goal, to be honest. And there's a few things in here that I didn't realize with Aaronson. And I can sort of relate to it in terms of being homesick and understanding that feeling. If you guys know, it's horrendous. And from a person who I am extremely close to my family, it's one of those things that I uphold high in my life, my family relationship, and that being the big thing in my life. Brenden Aaronson has spoke before about being very close with his family as well. Years ago in interviews, I remember when we were first talking about Brenden Aaronson and he was talking about family and this, that, and the other. And it must be really hard for him. That's what I'll say on a human level, because sometimes you've got to separate the footballer and the human. And he spoke to goal today and just been, and obviously been speaking on the back of the US men's national team. I think he's got 2 goals in 2. US fans as well, let us know about Brenden Aaronson in the comment section below. What has been his snippet away with the international team? Has it been decent from your perspective? Gabe said that it's maybe been overhyped a little bit. He doesn't think he's been that great, but I'd be interested to hear what you guys say in the comment section below as well. But he said for this international break in particular, he's had 5 days at home and it was unbelievable. He said he really had a good time, really reset him as well, but he hadn't been home in a year. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, that would be ruthless. That would be absolutely ruthless. And it was when I lived out in Australia it was brutal. I missed my family a lot, a hell of a lot. So that was rough. So I can't imagine how he's been feeling, especially with being close to his family as well. So being left out, he said, of the US men's national team last time out was a blessing in disguise. He said, and it really helped him sort of hone and focus on certain things, which is good. It's a mature approach. He said that he had a really good 25 games for Leeds, he felt, this season. But he said that the problem started, and this was interesting, in January, when at points, and he specifically referenced this, obviously over the Christmas period, which in the UK is completely unique. Nowhere across the world has the schedule we do like over the Christmas period. He said with a 3-game-a-week schedule at points, he really struggled with that. And he said that when he was going into games, he wanted to stay medium in terms of, energy, effort, endeavor, so he could preserve himself, not pick up injuries, not feel fatigued. But he said in that period of time, he was feeling very, very fatigued and he struggled. He said that he wants to stay medium. He can't wait to get back to the Premier League and he wants to be given a chance to prove himself in the Premier League. Now, just going on his record, obviously, when Leeds first signed him in the Premier League, it was a big it was a big sign, and that valuation will always follow you around. If you're someone like Brenden Aaronson, it followed Rodrigo around, it's followed Dan James around. Your value does always follow you around in football because it's what people pay attention to, and you've got to effectively prove that worth or it'll be used against you, which in a sense it has been with Brenden Aaronson at Leeds United. But in the Premier League, I didn't realize sort of how bad his record was. 29 starts in the Premier League, 1 goal and 2 assists. He's played 82 games for Leeds United. 1 season in the Championship, 1 season in the Premier League, which, look, he was a lot younger, wasn't he, in the Premier League, but he was bought for big money to hit the ground running. It was Champions League Brenden Aaronson. It was US men's national team Brenden Aaronson. It was formerly interest of Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, Brenden Aaronson. And it was a big money signing for Leeds United. We weren't bringing him in to develop in the future. It was a here and now signing. He didn't work whatsoever in that first campaign. And he's actually played 82 games for Leeds United in those 2 seasons, way over 6,000 minutes. And altogether, he's got 10 goals and 5 assists. And obviously there's a massive portion of that which has happened in the Championship, nine goals and 2 assists. Or 3 assists, I think it'll be. So look, age is a thing. The why of it is his age, and him coming in and that acclimatization. Maybe we can look back at his first stint at Leeds United and being homesick. It feels like Brenden, with that interview with Goal this week and the last couple of days, there is a little bit of an insinuation that being homesick is a problem for him and could be a problem for certain people. It's not. It's not all. Sorry about that. But yeah, for certain people, it's not a thing, right? Homesickness isn't a thing. It's not. You can go live out in the world for away from your family for 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, whatever. It's a problem for me, and it would be a problem for someone like Brenden Aaronson. So certain people are different. That's what we've got to take into consideration, and humans are a factor here. So it's good that he's had a bit of a reset mentally. Obviously, been dropped from the US men's national team. Been told that he's probably not good enough for the Premier League has been a big thing for him. But I think overall, I think if I'm honest with you guys, there's a ruthlessness in football, and there is a bit of a. It pulled on my heartstrings a little bit listening to what he was saying. So obviously, I can relate to it a little bit more. Football's all about relatability as well, because we don't see a lot of it at the top tier. But for me, he's just not good enough. He's not good enough, and the sentiment has to be stripped back. It has to be taken away from it. I think Leeds fans are getting better at this, getting better at stripping the sentiment back. Maybe it's because we've seen what happened in the Premier League for 2 years, of which it was just ruthless, and we're getting battered most weeks, and it was almost like you were looking at the caliber of player that we've got, and we're all just saying it's just not good enough. We need help. We need more. So I think that's a positive. And yeah, look, as an impact player potentially for periods of games, turn it into that Daniel Farker chaos at moments, maybe when we're trying to get a goal. But aside from that, I don't think he can be involved as a starter at all this season for me. So let's get into a few of your comments as well regarding Brenden. But for Australia, that's cold. Connor, are you bringing out a shirt with the new One Leeds logo? It could be a shout, mate, couldn't it? Could be a shout. Yeah, we've tried to do the branding across both channels now, which has been a bit of an effort, but it's worked, I think. Morning, Connor. Got here a little bit late. Catch you later. How's it going? All good, Matthew. Thanks for asking, buddy. Thank you. YouTube video going around doing the Leeds 3-0 under Tuchel. Aaronson was brilliant, scored and assisted. Rodrigo a handful, and even Christian wasn't bad. Aaronson work, commitment, skills. Yeah, Pete. But like I said, mate, there was 29 starts, I think, in the Premier League, and that first one was brilliant, of course, but it's just one game, isn't it? You need consistency, of course. Okay, as an American, BA is just not good enough. I honestly don't think he was even good enough at the championship level. He isn't a national team starter. Good on the press, can't pick out a pass, can't fit. That's where I'm at, mate. I think that's spot on. That's spot on. It's good because obviously I know with the Americans they very much back their own. They follow their individual players, and I respect that massively. It's just the culture over in the States, but it's nice to hear an American think a little bit more in the middle as such. You know, for years I guess we're told that it was one of those things when it came to Brenden Aaronson that he's a top level player and this, that, and the other, and he could be one of the stars in the Premier League. But I think you've got one of them, to be fair. US in Malik Tillman. What a player he looks like. He looks very, very decent, doesn't he? Aaronson knows he's up to his game consistent levels in order to be for the first team as well as to make a US national team impact. Morning, Connor. Brendan's a good lad, but if we get a decent offer, say 15 million sell, I can't think we're going to get that much, mate. I think his value's plummeted. Squad rotation. Impact player. He came into his own when the opposition defense is tired. So if we let Aaronson go, then we need even more in. Have we got the money? Who knows, mate? Who knows? Okay. Now, this is an interesting one. So Leon are in a little bit of a troublesome state right now. A little bit of a troublesome state. We spoke about it a little bit earlier on when it came to their debt and the problems that they're facing now. They've just been relegated, obviously, to League Two for financial non-compliance with the DNCG. Leeds have maybe a perfect window here, a perfect window to do some things if they're aggressive enough. Leon have a hotbed of talent, Malik Fofana is the obvious one, but I think Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, blah, 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 are all interested. Now, for me, there is a certain player of which I've always liked, and he's one of those where you could have watched him in Europe, you could have watched him in some of his high-profile games in France as well. I remember him against Karabag in particular, where he was outstanding. But it is this man here, Georges Mikautadze. Yeah, I don't think this would happen, but I think he caught everybody's eye when he was at Metz. 42 games, 25 goals was outrageous for them, obviously. Now for Leon, he's been absolutely prolific as well. For me, two-footed, left, right, unbelievable balance, great shot efficiency, good movement in the box, sharp. I would actually look at playing him on the left, but I know his natural position is a centre forward. But I like him off that left-hand side cutting in. I think he's outrageous and really difficult to mark. Very much of the Iron Robins, when they cut in, it's about can they stop them? You know what they're going to do, but can you stop them? So I think he fits a lot of Daniel Farker's style as well, because I know when we're talking about these players, we have to basically look at the specifics of how he would fit into Daniel Farker's system. The way I think he would is his dynamism, his fluidity across that front four, but also his defensive work rate. His percentile is off the charts when it comes to his defensive work rate from a forward in Ligue 1. So, yeah, look, we've spoke numerous times about not always been the preference for a striker to be running in behind. And the reason behind that is because I think Premier League strikers just give you no space in and behind anymore. I think, their recovery runs are either excellent or they play a really decent, almost militant line of which, you're going to be caught offside all the time with VAR. But I think he's unbelievable at combining with the midfield, which is really important for Leeds this season in terms of getting us up and being involved in obviously that transitional play. But obviously his pace is a massive factor. So yeah, and dribbling, look, he's off the charts. And as you can see there, guys, by his goal return as well at Lyon, it's it's been very impressive. And where could he work? I think he'll be a centre forward, maybe in a 4-4-2. We've spoke about Krstovic. We will talk about Krstovic going forward a little bit in this video. But Krstovic, and him as a two would work. I think he works in a 4-2-3-1 off the left, in my opinion, or centrally. So yeah, a lot to consider there, but he would be my pick. I think the rest of them potentially are going to be a little bit more unrealistic. And look, the rest of them being, Fofana, there's no way. I don't think there's any way we're getting him. But maybe someone like Mikautadze, who's not got the headlines and is not like one of those players who is always trending like maybe Fofana is. I think, but like what we've got to say is it's not just us who are aware that Lyon are in trouble. Not everybody, like, it's not just us. The whole world are now looking at Lyon and their talent base and going, okay, let's go for them. Like it's just sharks, isn't it? It's going to be shark infested waters for Lyon. So they're appealing the decision anyway, but I can't see that being something that they get over the line with obviously the problems that they're in. But yeah, he'd be the one. I know Kingy's asked me about who I would go for at Lyon. It would be him if I'm to go for one. Top player, Connor. Yeah, he is. Very, very good. Very good. If we could only get one Lyon player, I'd go for Chevalier. He's a machine of a goalkeeper. Yeah, they've got Lyon's. Yeah, I mean, the keeper's a good shout, to be fair. He's a good shout. I think this is just the glitz and the glamour option, isn't it? But I have said multiple times that the most important position is the goalkeeper right now. So yeah, there we go. Maybe that suggestion could be right. Could be right. Hi Connor, can you update your graphics and include players' height and pace stats if you can? I can ask the question, mate. I can definitely ask the question. That's very specific. It might be a little bit where is the line drawn a little bit there, because that feels like a real data pack across all the bits. So yeah, I can ask the question, mate. It's just where do we draw the line there? Because we might have to get like a massive player profile for each player, which maybe takes away from us actually having these discussions, because you'll just look at the formatted bit and think, all right, okay, I don't need to watch the rest of it. John Suppick says, as an American, I can sympathize, but come on, Leeds isn't too far from Philly. Same language. Brother is in the same time zone in Utrecht. Yeah, you guys are a different level though when it comes to just. Yeah, when you're, to be fair, when your villages, where your towns are like 4 hours or 5 hours away from each other, and that's classified as like a short journey. The Americans are different, man. The Americans are different when it comes to Gabe will say to me just like, oh, I'm just making a short trip. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, the next town. I'm like, oh, how long are you going to be in the car for? He's like, I'm setting off at 1 p.m, so I'll probably get in at 7. I'm like, okay. That's like a full trip here in the UK. So yeah, but yeah, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Okay, let's move on. Leeds United have apparently put in another bid for Habib Diarra. That is the big news this morning when it comes to the Leeds United sphere. Yeah, it's fascinating, this one. Look, Diarra, maybe Leeds United are thinking to themselves that they can go in again. They can test the waters a little bit. This has been reported by numerous outlets now when it's come to Habib. Look, there's other clubs in the picture now. Atletico Madrid, Aston Villa. I don't know. I mean, this has been reported by some really decent sources as well. But apparently, Leeds have gone in with a 26 million euro bid. Strong interest from the Premier League and the rest of Europe as well. We've spoken about his profile before. He's going to add a lot of energy, grit to the midfield. Suits Farke's system, box to box, machine, captain at 21 years of age. But yeah, apparently Leeds United have tabled a bid, according to loads of outlets, including Yahoo this morning as well. But apparently there's Atletico Madrid, Man United, Brighton, Aston Villa, all interested in negotiations. Their club president, Keller, we spoke about this before, has said that for the right price, Diarra will be able to go. And yeah, it feels like one of those with him where I don't know, are we just testing the waters? Are we trying to get the bids in early? If we get the bids in early, then who knows what can happen? He might accept, but you do feel in the agent sphere nowadays that they'll just tell them to wait with clubs like this in the offing. And we're going to speak about Nikola Krstovic in just a second. And maybe it feels like it's going down that way with him as well. Guys, we've got 844 people in the building this morning. Shout out to all of you. We've got 297 likes. Can we whack that up? Can we get we got 1.4K likes yesterday. Can we get 1.5K likes? Who knows? But yeah, do that for me if you can. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of a cold. So also, we look, guys, as I mentioned before, Shop GNO and the Job Match Group. Just a quick pause for sponsorship as well here. Shop GNO, fantastic site. I'm going to continue shouting out shops that are listed on the site as well. So it gives you guys a little bit of an advertisement. And obviously, I'm working with Shop GNO going forward. It's an e-commerce site, better rates than eBay, Vinted, and Amazon if you want to list your shops on there. Some of you I know list your shops on these sites and you get such a better rate from Shop GNO. It's a big site. It's making waves. You can go on there if you want to do a bit of shopping as well. Get really cheap deals on there. Make sure you check the guys out. But Pet Care Factory has just listed their shop on there. Big Leeds fans. Shout out to you guys. And apparently the reason they moved over there was because they get cheaper rates than what they sell the shop for on Amazon and Vinted. So there you go, an actual case study. Also, Job Match Group, everybody. I know a lot of you are struggling in the job market nowadays. They tailor your specific needs to whatever you want, whether or not it's security, retail, and it's actual sites built for those sectors. So you go to Job Match Group and then you can select any of these sort of specific sites that you want to get involved in or where your qualities and attributes are. So shout out to those guys and shout out to the lads at Match Bingo as well, who are flying at this moment in time through the link at One Leeds. You can get 5 cards for the price of 4, and the deposit is also reduced with the One Leeds link. So there you go, guys. Don't say I don't do anything for you. Okay, moving on slightly. Gabriel Gudmundsson. Now, there's not that much of an update on Gudmundsson, I have to say, but did you know that his dad, Nicholas Gudmundsson, played for Blackburn in the Premier League, 95-96. And apparently this is where Gabriel's love for the Premier League has come from. Reports have stated that he's a massive fan of the Premier League. He wants to play that, and he's told Lille this season that he's likely, obviously with his contract negotiation, it's finished in 2026, but he's told Lille this summer that it's likely that he moves on. He's actually said that to Lille, I want to move on this summer. So he's looking at every single transfer, but his ideal move is to the Premier League. And obviously he's had his old boy there. That probably makes a lot of sense when it comes to that. But his ideal move is the Premier League, which obviously gives Leeds a massive advantage. I think we're going to get Gudmundsson done. I don't know. It just feels like with all the links in France, with the early links with Leeds, which it was with some half decent sources, and the reports over here suggesting there's strong interest from Leeds, it feels like he's going to be our left back. I don't know. It feels like maybe that could even be the next one, to be honest with you. So yeah, like him a lot. Smash a like for Connor, people, please. Thank you, Shelley. Good to see you over here. What do you think of the chance of signing Oscar Gluck? The lad seems like he has massive potential to be world class. Yeah, we spoke about him the other day, Danny, and I'd say the only thing I step back on when it comes to Oscar is the fact that obviously he's a young lad, 21. He's got excellent ability, I think, in I think he's obviously I think he needs space, basically, is to be brutally honest with you. I think he needs space, and that's how he gets into his rhythm. He gets a lot of space in the Austrian Bundesliga if you can just watch a few of his highlights. And that could be curated by him through exceptional movement, through feints. But I also think that it's a much weaker league. And I think to spend around about 21 million quid, which is what Salzburg are asking for Oscar Gluck, I think it would be a big risk. A big, big risk for Leeds United right now. Would it be as much of a risk for Manchester United, for Arsenal, who are apparently interested in him? Probably not. But I see him as a very much of a luxury player. I look at Habib Diarra. I don't think a luxury player. I look at Nikola Krstovic. I don't think the luxury players. I think their off-the-ball work is very, very good. With the greatest of respect, I'm not sure Oscar Gluck's is. I think he's very much a 10. So I like him. Decent player, but you've got to think of the situation Leeds United are going to be in, people, when it comes to these players. When it comes to the goalkeepers, you've got to think when we're targeting a goalkeeper, how many environments have they been in? How many situations have they been in that are going to be very similar to Leeds United? And have they been successful in these situations as well? You know, have they got good numbers, good data metric? Because players like Gabriel Gudmundsson, players like Gabriel, you know, there's a lot, in my opinion, of their attributes which transition into a low block Premier League, maybe direct 75% of the time, Leeds United space. I don't know if an Oscar Gluck, and this is when you guys are asking me, I'd advise, and you learn things from me, I learn things from you in these spaces, and that's why it's brilliant. I think it's a really good environment for Leeds fans. The One Leeds is the best in the business, in my opinion. But I think that luxurious number 10 is something in a relegation battle that I don't want. I don't want. You know, even when you look at someone like Brenden Aaronson, that's probably more of the profile you'd want in a relegation battle. Not saying I'd want Brenden Aaronson over Oscar Gluck. Have to put that out there because as a technical footballer, you look at Oscar Gluck and what he can do with the football. He's a better footballer. He's a better technician than Brenden Aaronson. But I'm talking about in a relegation battle, what Brenden Aaronson isn't is as a luxury player. You know, he's a presser, he's got energy, he's got endeavour. At points during the season, he would be effective, but I think that would be off the bench. I'm not sure Oscar Gluck would come to Leeds and be a starter. Therefore, would he be on the bench? Would he fit a Daniel Farke style, which you've got to be really rigorous, you've got to be ruthless, you've got to be very good off the ball as well. And we're going to have to do that in the Premier League. Everyone's going to have to be diligent. I'm not sure physically he's got that level to be able to transition to the Premier League just yet, but I think he's less risk for a Man United and an Arsenal than what he is for Leeds because he's going to have to start most weeks, and I'm not sure he's at that level, to be honest with you, in my opinion, in terms of across the board player that you want in maybe an 8. You know what I mean? Not for me, not a 10. I don't think we can have a luxury number 10 this year. And that's why if you're offering me someone like Oscar Gluck or Gus Hamer, I'm taking Gus Hamer every day of the week. Every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. Norwich fan here. How likely is Josh Sargent's transfer to happen? I hope not, mate. Really, really hope not. I hope not. I was speaking to Callum Fowler the other day, and he thinks he'd be a good signing for Leeds. Just not for me. Not for me. Callum Fowler said he'd be a good signing for Forest. Not for me. Not for me. And that's no disrespect to him. It's no disrespect to him. I just don't think he's a complete package. We need certainties, not risks this season for me. As I keep saying, top 5 leagues. Top 5 leagues, and that's not unrealistic for a Leeds United Premier League. Leeds United in the Premier League. It's just not. It's not unrealistic. And you've seen that with our targets so far as well. Our signings so far. Top 5 leagues. That has to be the aim. Has to be the aim. There's also the whole he's Israeli to think about. Yeah. Yeah. I guess there's, yeah. Not for me. I try not to take the political thing into it, to be honest with you. I should stay away from RB clubs. I like them boys from Sundowns in South Africa, top players. Yeah, they've been decent in the club competition, haven't they? Max Aarons, it's a Rangers corner. We have been knocked to the side by the 49ers. I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. I wouldn't want Aarons. Would you take Aarons over Bogle? Not for me. Not for me. Okay. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. Right. Armand Lauriente. I was at a wedding around about 2 months ago, and people were saying, Connor, who, in your opinion, because you're not too sure about Solomon, and I have to be honest, I'm not really. But who would be your pick? And I mentioned 2 players in terms of if you just wanted to get that replica of him. I mentioned Christoph Zolis at Club Bruges, who's a perfect representation of what Solomon has been at Leeds United. And then I mentioned as a bit of a left field, Armand Lauriente. Flying for Sassuolo this season. I don't know why he's been playing at that level, but he has been. He definitely could have played at a higher level. Him and Josh Doig on that left-hand side. But Lauriente has been unbelievable. And my dreams were crushed last night. Crushed. Because Sunderland are apparently in discussion with Sassuolo over the signing of Armand Lauriente. So, yeah, gutted. I think he can make that transition. I think he can make that. But then again, it does go back to me not being a hypocrite here and talking about the top 5 leagues. Serie B is not a top 5 league. We're all very aware of that. But Armand Lauriente has played at the top level before and been relatively successful. But I also think he's a Serie A player, if that makes sense. I think the whole of Italy sees him as a Serie A player. So, yeah, I'm kind of putting that as a little bit of a caveat there. Sunderland are apparently highly interested in him. We know Sunderland have got a good scouting network. So that means I've got a good scouting network. Okay. But he was part of the 6 picks earlier on. And I will be doing an updated 6 picks as well, guys, on a video for you guys to just have a little peruse through and see who I'm looking at in terms of players. But yeah, shame. Looks like he's going to Sunderland or, yeah, somewhere else anyway, but it doesn't look like Leeds are going for him. Annoyingly, but it is what it is. We move on. Let's hope we can get someone better. Okay, let's talk about Nikola Krstovic first off, shall we? Now, Planeta Lecce, a local paper close to the club Lecce, believe it or not, have spoken about Nikola Krstovic today and have put some interesting points out. Now, apparently, Nikola Krstovic has previously said that his dream is Man United. But we put that to the side because we've had Man United fans play for Leeds before. Lewis Cook. Yeah, remember Lewis Cook? Went to my school. Big Man United fan. Bet none of you knew that. There you go. A little pipe bomb there from Conor McGilligan. Lewis Cook, big Man United fan. Alan Smith, big Liverpool fan. There we go. The smudge. But yeah, apparently he's not received the calls that he was hoping for, according to Planeta Lecce today. And there are indications in the Italian press that he wants to stay in Italy amid interest from Juve and Roma. None of those sides have come forward yet, but apparently the discussions and supposedly the table bid that Leeds United have put out there, Lecce would be willing to move on that. But apparently Nikola Krstovic, according to Corriere del Sport this morning, has said that he is not sure on the move to Leeds United as of yet. And as I said, apparently he's not received the calls, according to Get Italian News today as well. He's not received the calls that he was hoping for. So obviously you've got to take these things with a pinch of salt, of course, but maybe his agent. And I guess that's the thing with being a newly promoted side, everybody. That is the thing, taking Leeds United out of it. If you're a football player and you've had a good season, which Krstovic has at a poor Lecce side. He's had a good season. He'll be thinking to himself, 16 goal involvements in 37 appearances. It's a decent haul. He's 25 years of age. He'll be thinking about the next move in his career being a massive move. 4 or 5 year deal. We've seen Leeds give these out before. 4 or 5 year deal. He'll be thinking to himself, that takes him into his prime, past his prime, probably wherever he's going. If you go to Leeds, there is a massive likelihood, and obviously he's a Montenegrin. He's not going to be, intertwined with the Leeds United fabric that we are. But as a newly promoted side, he'll be thinking to himself, and as a young man, he won't have seen Leeds in the Premier League. He'll be thinking to himself, do you know what? Or he will have done, to be honest, but in those 3 years, not when we're successful in the Prem. But he'll be thinking to himself, do you know what? I would hope that I could get better bids than a promoted side, a newly promoted side in England. And you can kind of understand that. Taking your Leeds hat off, you can kind of understand that. If let's say a European club come in or whatever, one of the mid-table clubs, I'm sure he'd jump at that, especially with his best season that he's had. So him and his agent will be thinking, we want a bigger move than Leeds. And unfortunately, guys, being a big club in the Championship means something. It really does. It means something if you're a massive club in the Championship. In the Premier League, it really doesn't mean that much. Unless you've got a Marcelo Bielsa at the helm, it doesn't mean that much. We can sell them Rafinha because that's a recent case study as, what we can do for you. But when you get a Bournemouth and a Brighton and a Brentford all coming in for the same player as Leeds aren't winning that battle. That's just what it is nowadays. And that's hard to come to terms with, but it is true. It is completely true. So Keller had been the prime example. If a club that's more established is arguably more wealthy and has a better standing of being in the Premier League, and Krstovic doesn't have to lace his deal with a relegation clause, which might work but might not work for him. He might be thinking, I don't want to move around again if Leeds get relegated, which is a big possibility now. You kind of look at the certainties in Brighton, in Bournemouth, and Brentford in particular, who you look at and think they're not as big as Leeds, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't anymore. The Championship is a big thing. Naturally, completely understand that. The big lure of signing for a big club in the Championship, it means something. Premier League, it doesn't anymore. It just doesn't. It's longevity at the top level, which are going to give these players almost that belief that they're going to be playing in the Premier League for big parts of their career and then maybe get a better move, because you want to test yourself against the best players in the Premier League for a long period of time. And then that gives you that sustenance, that backing for clubs to look at you and go, oh, he can do it in the Premier League. It's no good him getting relegated after a year. So maybe that's what he's thinking. Okay, let's have a look at some of what you guys are saying. Okay. Tom says, I like some of the players we're going for. However, I worry about the number of untested players we're signing. Would it be a bit safer to approach more experienced Premier League players? Tom, I think there's a level of which we can do that, mate. I think I've never been a fan of the whole notion and the ideology, I guess, if you want to put it that extremely. I've never been a massive fan of the whole ideology of just going for players who, you know, I've just got that Premier League experience, because a lot of the time, mate, when they've got these we've got this Premier League experience, you're kind of looking at players like Thomas Souček, Decore. They are in the latter part of their career, so they demand big money because they want big money, which is, you know, with probably their last contract, you know, in the Premier League. They demand massive money. They're on the decline. All of them, they're on the decline. When you get to 30, you're not just going to drastically improve unless you're a top player, a top player, and it barely happens there as well. There's not many case studies suggesting that's happening in world football. So I think we've got to be really careful when you go for those experienced players, and sometimes they demand a high fee. Thomas Souček is just an example. Would probably cost Leeds around about 15 million quid. He's on 100 grand a week right now, and he's on the decline, and he can't play with the ball at his feet. He's an asset, 100% when it comes to set pieces, but in terms of being a danger in the box, yes, completely. But I don't think he's a good ball carrier. I don't think in possession he's good at all. I don't think he's good under a press. I don't think he's good vertically. So I do think I do think he's a problem in the air. I do think he's a good defensive player, but you're spending your output is a lot. So it's what level of experienced players we're looking at really here, because experienced Premier League players, maybe 2-3 years in their prime, are also going to cost a hell of a lot of money. So it's when Leeds are sort of edging the bets at maybe 20 to 30 million pound a player, you've kind of got to go and get Gabriel. And I would much rather have, let's say as a comparison, an experienced Premier League defender, right? Michael Keane. Okay. Leeds have been rumored with Michael Keane, as of some Premier League teams with Michael Keane. Just an out there example. Experienced Premier League player has been solid, not really mistake ridden. And then you compare him to someone like Gabriel, you know, who's a mid 20s player, never got the experience in the Premier League, but you look at his attributes and you think to yourself, they will simultaneously, you know, transfer into the Premier League very, very well, you know. And you've also got to think about the amount of so-called, you know, foreign players in the Premier League right now. There's a reason, you know, these clubs go out and you know, recruit these players. Once again, we were just mentioning Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth in particular. They go out and recruit these players because they've got all the attributes to fit into the Premier League. It's going to cost Leeds a hell of a lot of money if we want to go for these proven players in the Premier League. I totally get what you're saying, but I think we will get into more attacking situations than that this season. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, mate. Let's get Gassan in to make you feel better, Connor. Yeah. I'm not convinced Lauriente is better than Ramazani. Not really done it in the top flight of Italy. Jaden are you convinced maybe that Solomon was better than Ramazani, though? I guess that's the question again. Football's not linear, is it? That's what we keep saying over here. Morning, Connor. Hope all is well. All is well, my friend. Thank you so much. Can't compete for elite players until we are established in the EPL. Even then, it won't be all about the money. Top players want European football until we are ready to be smart in the market. Shout out to you, Sean. I see you in here all the time as well, but I completely agree with you there, buddy. Completely agree. Let's have a look what you guys are saying as well. Yeah, we'll get into Calvert-Lewin in just a bit, mate. We'll just get into Calvert-Lewin. Don't worry about it. What happened to Dolberg on cold? It looks like it has, Kim. It looks like it has. I think we spoke about on the room a little bit earlier on that he'd said that he wants to stay. He wants to stay at Anderlecht. So yeah. Okay, I wanted to touch on Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well, because someone who I really respect in the news world, iNews' very own Mark Douglas, who was a chief correspondent on the Newcastle side of things for around about 15 years, highly respected in the football world, has spoken about Leeds being very interested in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So that's the sort of extent of what we know. But iNews reporting it. Normally, I'm not, it's fine as long as Mark's reporting. But Mark Douglas, a very good source, has suggested that. Obviously, we spoke yesterday. A lot of people saying it was rubbish. There's no way Leeds are interested. Mark is suggesting this morning that Leeds are interested in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, I'm interested in many things. Do you know what I mean? I'm interested in going to Barbados for 3 weeks. Doesn't mean there's any consolidation there. Doesn't mean any, I'm going there, booking it in 3 weeks. Let's go Barbados. Connor's going there. I'm interested. Doesn't mean I'm going to sign that deal. That's going to take about $5,000 out of my pocket. So we've got to take all these with a very, very big pinch of salt, an almost fistful of salt, everybody. It is just how it is in this window. So, yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is that one that we were speaking about yesterday. Connor, any news on a loan for Dewsbury Hall? Nothing's happening there, Steve. I don't think that's unless we get to the back end of the window and there's an opportunistic part there for Leeds potentially. Dwayne says, I personally don't like the thought of Krstovic. What's your opinion, Connor? I like a lot of what he'd bring, to be honest with you. I do like a lot of what he'd bring. As I've said before, hold up play. I think he'd work really well in the front two. Really well in the front two. I think he's instinctive. I think he's very instinctive with his striking of the ball as well, his movement. I like it. It's almost like he doesn't think about it. We've had players, I think, this season, maybe Joseph and Bamford and Peru at points, who think about it too much. And I think as a striker, if you're instinctive, quick snapshots, or you can get the ball on the edge of the area and just drag it across and ping it far corner. I think he's good on the edge of the area. I think he's good in the box. I think when you look at the amount of chances he missed as well, that was relatively high. When you look at his XG, which for me instigates that, or insinuates, I should say, that he's in the right positions at the right time. But I like him. I do like Nikola Krstovic. I like what I've seen of him. So, yeah, it's not one of those that's going to make you really get off your seat and go, oh my God, what a signing. But it is one of those where I do like him. Yeah, I do like what he brings as a striker. I think all the sort of like tick boxes that you've got, the off the ball work as well, the defensive work from a forward that he brings, I do. Okay. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying. We do have nearly 1,200 of you in the building this morning. Hello, welcome to all of you. We have 460 likes. Guys, there's 1,200 of you watching. Do me an absolute solid. Please slap a like on the video. It really, really helps us. And share this to your friends. If some of your friends haven't checked out One Leeds before, it's your job. The One Leeds is to spread the word. But yes, I will be getting into a few more bits going on through the old day. So if you guys are interested as well, this is uploaded to Spotify. It's uploaded to Apple if you want to listen to it on the dog walk or at lunchtime at work or whatever. I know a few of you messaged me about that. We do upload clips on social media as well if you're interested in that sort of stuff. So yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, everybody. If you have just joined, like I've just seen Cube.Shorts has done, you can check this out from the very beginning. I will put timestamps in, so it's easier for you guys to just go through the video. I know sometimes a lot of you are busy and you're just thinking, Connor, I just want to get to the point about X, Y, and Z. I will put timestamps in the video. It's been an absolute pleasure, everybody, as always, from this morning and from the rest of it. It's doing brilliantly. I love doing these every morning with you guys. It's really enjoyable. It's a bit of work. And I think the rumor mill this year has been better than it ever has before because of obviously the updates you guys can see on screen and in the background. But obviously, I'm also trying to do a lot more. It's not the rumor mill anymore. This is like the scouting, the realism, the rumor rater mill as well. It's like we're trying to incorporate everything. That's why it goes on for so long. You won't see many shows on the internet an hour long when it comes to transfers. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. Thank you so much for all of your ongoing support. It really means a lot to me. Stay tuned in with One Leeds as well. It won't be the Rumour Mill tomorrow. It'll probably be the Rumour Wrap. The Rumour Wrap next day, Rumour Wrap, and then Rumour Wrap, then back to the mill. I think it's going to be 3 or 4 days of the wrap. So stay in tune for all your latest Leeds United news. If you fancy some bonus bits as well, head on over to the second channel if you've not got enough of my ugly mug so far. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much again. My name's been Conor McGilligan. This has been the Rumour Mill. See you in a bit. Cheers.